I've said it before and I'll say it again. The 2022 offseason has been an insane one. So many big name players getting moved left and right. Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Davante Adams, and Tyreek Hill, just to name a few. But caught in the sheer craziness of the roster turnovers, we have missed some pretty good negotiations from NFL GMs. So in this video, I will be going over the top 6 fleeces so far during the NFL offseason. What's going on there, guys? Darren here from 610 Football. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for some of the best football content out on YouTube. This NFL offseason is starting to look like a rebuild you would do in Madden. So many different moves have happened. A lot of the focus has been on the big names that have been moved. And while I will be talking about one of them in this video, I really want to focus on the players who are still good but went for far less than what they should have. So first, I'm going to be talking about the trade fleeces that happened, then I'll get into the signing fleeces that happened. And you cannot talk about fleeces this offseason without mentioning how the Browns absolutely robbed the Texans of Deshaun Watson. Now, I guess you can put an asterisk next to this one, and I'll explain why in a minute. There were so many reports of what the Texans wanted for Watson. It was rumored to be 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and then some. That is a package that we have not seen since the Herschel Walker deal. But if there was any QB to trade that much for, it's Watson. His combination of accuracy and athleticism is something you do not come across often, and he is an immediate upgrade at the position for about 90% of NFL teams. Watson ended up going to the Browns for 3 firsts, a 4th this year, plus another 3 and a 4 next year, which, based on the reports I was mentioning earlier, is an absolute steal for the Browns. You still have some mid-round picks this year along with a 2nd next year. But here's where the asterisk comes into play. The Browns then gave him a 5-year deal worth $235 million guaranteed. So while the Browns did not have to give up any players and far fewer draft picks than what many expected, they will be giving Watson a ton of cash in return. One of Watson's new targets was also acquired via trade, and that was Cleveland absolutely fleecing Amari Cooper from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, it is a little hard to call this a fleece when the Browns could have signed Cooper after he would have been released, but still. The Browns get one of the best route runners in the league to fill the voids left by Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. Plus, all they had to do was give Dallas a couple of late round picks and bang, Cooper's now a Brown. Now, yes, Cooper is getting a lot of money, but compared to what some of the other wide receivers in the league are now making, $20 million for a borderline elite receiver is not bad at all. Another team that traded for a quarterback were the Indianapolis Colts, getting Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons. But it was a different trade that Chris Ballard pulled off that I really fell in love with. The trade for Yannick Ngakoue. Ngakoue almost reminds me of someone like Tobias Harris from the NBA. A solid to good player that is almost always on a new team every other minute. Once Ngakoue was tagged by the Jaguars, he then demanded a trade, which the Minnesota Vikings took upon. Then he got traded to the Ravens mid-season, and after he left Baltimore in free agency, he went to go play in Vegas, where he had a stellar season. Ngakoue is a kind of edge rusher who is good, but he needs help on the line for him to be really successful. In Jacksonville, he had guys like Calais Campbell and Josh Allen to help him with that. In Minnesota, he didn't really have anybody like that to help him out. That's why he finished as the team's leader in sacks that year, despite only playing 6 games for them. Then, when he went to Baltimore, he had Matthew Judon on the other side of the line, along with being reunited with Campbell on the interior. Then, most recently in Vegas, Mad Max Crosby took up so much attention and was so dominant that allowed for Ngakoue to thrive, having a double-digit sack season. Now, going to Indianapolis, Ngakoue is being put into a perfect situation, joining a line that features DeForest Buckner and Kwity Paye, and all it took to trade for him was Rocky Yassin. Chris Ballard continues to put on a GM masterclass. This offseason has also been huge for wide receivers. Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill got dealt, along with Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, and Christian Kirk all getting massive bags. But one deal that went really under the radar was the Titans trading for Robert Woods. The Julio Jones experiment failed miserably for the Titans. He just could not stay healthy for that team, meaning that AJ Brown had to take a lot of the load in the passing game, especially after Derrick Henry went down. The team knew that they had to get a reliable receiver on the other side to help out in that category. Woods is a great addition for them. Not only is he going to be able to produce on the field, but he is going to be a nice veteran addition to a receiver room that's fairly young. Now, it's not guaranteed that Woods is going to be the same player that he was in LA, considering that he is coming off of a torn ACL, but he is certainly better than whoever else the Titans had to offer. And all it took was a 6th round pick next year for Tennessee to grab him. Now let's talk about guys who were absolutely fleeced signing with new teams. Now, these players could have taken discounts for one reason or another, but either way, these two teams both got absolute steals acquiring their new players. The first one being the Philadelphia Eagles signing Hassan Reddick. Reddick is similar to Ngakoue in that he is a great player, but is elevated even more when he has help on the line. Since 2020, Reddick has ranked top 5 in both sacks and tackles for loss. He was helped by doing so by having dominant rushers on the other side in Chandler Jones and Brian Burns. And it honestly felt like Reddick never got the credit he deserved because of those two players. But now Reddick has the opportunity to become the best player on the Eagles line, but will still have a ton of pass rushing help with Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat, and Fletcher Cox. Reddick signed with his hometown Eagles for 3 years and $45 million. And considering we saw guys like Chandler Jones, Von Miller, and Harold Landry all get significantly more money, the Eagles got a near elite pass rusher for a pretty good price. Finally, let's talk about Allen Robinson. The former Pro Bowler didn't really have the best tenure in Chicago, and after being franchise tagged last year, Robinson finally had the opportunity to be set free, and the Rams were able to pick him up on a discount. LA is paying just $15 million a year for Robinson, who is a guy that would have easily been a #1 wide receiver on a couple of different teams. Robinson will be taking over for the aforementioned Robert Woods, but now has a chance to finally play with a good QB while also playing under a great head coach. Robinson has spent his entire career catching ducks from Blake Bortles, Mitchell Trubisky, Andy Dalton, and Justin Fields. Now he gets an immediate upgrade from all of them with Matthew Stafford. Not to mention that Sean McVay will actually put him on routes that go more than 10 yards. So that's it for today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. It goes a long way towards supporting me in this channel, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. Also, make sure you check out all my other social media links listed down in the description below. I have an Instagram, a TikTok, and a Twitter. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.